You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
And good afternoon, dear listeners, to another Achtung Grassroots edition. My name is Michael Avery, and for this week I'm joined with Avery Junior number 2, the middle child, because the eldest wanted to stay at home and the youngest is asleep. We are here for today's game between Beckenham Town and Banstead Athletic in the Combined Counties Premier Division South. The two teams are taken to the field now, Beckenham in their all-red strip and Banstead Athletic in their all-yellow strip. Good decent crowd here for today's game. It's slowly filling up, a lot of merchandise, and even though there is a shed which has a sign on it that says Club Shop, it probably is a step up from the one we have at our club, but I'm only joking, Club Shop, anyone listening. So we'll just have a quick look and run through of how the teams have been going through this season in the Combined Counties Premier Division South. Beckenham have played 31, 24 wins, 4 draws and 3 losses. They're actually unbeaten at home here at Eden Park Avenue, and their only losses this season have come on the road, obviously being unbeaten at home. The goal difference is incredible. I mean, the goal difference is plus 64 with 92 goals scored and 28 conceded. They're currently on 72 points, second in the table, even though they've scored that many goals and unbeaten at home, but they're 2 points off top spot with 2 games in hand. So obviously things go the way and the way they're doing, they might take the tops off. Banstead on the other side of the table, they're nearer the bottom, played 30, won 4, drawn 6 and lost 20. They've had 3 wins on the road, so they're not doing too bad. 4 draws and 9 defeats away. The goal difference is minus 43. They've scored 35 and conceded 78. So there's a lot of goals between these two teams. They're on 18 points so far, 8 points from safety. 19th place, but they do have 3 in hand on AFC Croydon Athletic, so they could get out of it if all goes well. I'll run through some of the actual other results during the game itself, during the opening minutes when we get a quiet moment, but just before the game starts, I will ask Avery Junior number 2, what do we think the score is going to be? We said in the car, didn't on the way down, it might be a big one, so what do we think?
4-0.
4-0? Who to?
Beckenham Town.
4-0 Beckenham Town. I'm going to be a bit more conservative. I might say like a 3-0, 3-1. I can see them scoring a couple early and maybe just being a bit more respectful. So we'll see how we get on. Decent attendance, a lot of people behind us at goals, as I said there. A few in the stand and a few on the other side as well. The pitch has got a slight downward slope, but apart from that, it's a nice little ground. So, check in soon. We are literally, 2-3 minutes into the game and we have our first goal, and even though we was just waxing lyrical about how good Beckenham Town will be, how attacking they are and how many goals they score and goal difference, everything like that, who scored that one? Banstead, didn't they? Banstead. It was basically Beckenham had the ball, they was running up the pitch, playing it quite nicely actually, to be fair. They lost possession, Banstead got the ball, a little bit of a dummy, got Danny Waldron, the Beckenham Town manager, slightly off foot. Ball was played out wide, he ran up the line nicely, he must carry the ball 30-40 yards there, Len? Something like that. Ball was played across the 18-yard box, ball was touched inside and then just slotted past the goalkeeper. So it's actually the team who are in deep relegation trouble who are taking the lead, and we're only 2-3 minutes into the game. So good start so far, fast. I was literally going to say in the opening few minutes, this is slightly different to the Erith and Belvedere game where this is being kept on the ball a lot more, but it'll be interesting to see how tactics change, considering that Beckenham Town have gone one down so early. So we'll keep going, but 1-0 Banstead as it stands. And a few more minutes into the game, it's Beckenham Town with a corner on the right-hand side, the far side from where we're standing now. I'm going to voice note this to see if anything happens, and knowing my luck it won't, but if I don't voice note it'll go in. Corner comes in, headers up, and it's cleared nicely there by Banstead, and we'll look at the comeback back in, header up the top. Scrambling around the box, it's going up, it's up again, lovely touch inside the box. Oh, what a save from the goalkeeper. There was a hand up that sort of made it seem like there was an offside, but the ball was bouncing around in the penalty area. It's come down to the centre forward, who's struck it really well from close range, and the keeper's tipped it over for another corner. So still 1-0 at the moment, but plenty of action. Well done, Banstead, keep it up. So we're looking at 10-11 minutes into the game now, and again, it's slowly against what the predictions would be, weren't it? What do you think of the game so far?
Quite good. Banstead are the better team this half, but it's not the end, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see what happens. I think the thing is as well is that Banstead not to be horrible, because it's obviously clearly working, but they're playing a lot of the Route 1 stuff, aren't they? There's like long balls over the top and players running onto it and using their speed. The 5,
Good through lobs.
yeah, good through long balls, yeah. So the 5 for Banstead, the boy's got serious pace, and he's done the fullback a few times. Yeah, it's Beckenham head all day long, but and it's starting to snow, as you can hear from some of the people around. But basically, the attacking lineup for Banstead are causing all sorts of problems for Beckenham, and Beckenham are trying to play it on the floor a bit more, and they're getting a little bit more frustrated as they run down the wing, and he's out-muscled and lost the ball there. But Banstead playing a bit more simple, a bit more Route 1 if you could be a bit impolite, and as I said, it's frustrating Beckenham, because they're obviously trying to play a certain way and it's not seen to be going in their hands. But it's obviously non-league football, combined counties football, so it really is a case of digging deep and grafting hard to get the result, because the game's 10, 11, 12 minutes old, and there's still plenty to pay for. But yeah, maybe change tactics or wait until Banstead tire themselves out a bit to get back into this one, because at the moment it is Banstead who are the better team. So while we've got a little bit of a gap in play, I'll go through the reasons why we thought that Beckenham would comfortably win this game. So in the last 5, they lost the most recent game 3-1 at Collier's Wood, but before that they won 3-0 at Badshot Lee. They won 5-1 at home against Balham. They won 7-0 away against Frimley Green. They won 9-1 at home against Moulsey. So that's 25 goals scored in 5 games. Whereas Banstead, they'd only had 1 win in their last 5, with a defeat at home to Hawley Town, a win away at Jersey Bulls. Imagine going away to Jersey and winning. That's a fair old slog with your Oyster card, isn't it? 2-1 at home to Sherwater. They lost 3-1 at home to Frimley Green, and they drew 1-1 away at Camberley Town. And the top goal scorers for Beckenham Town this season, Stephen Townsend with 21 and Tunde Aderomu with 18. So between just their 2 centre forwards, or two attacking players, if you will, there's 39 goals there, and most appearances from their captain in League and Cup, Danny Waldron, scored 11 goals, which is considerably more than Banstead's top goal scorer Don Didio Tametail, who scored 5, and Scott Walker, who's got 5 as well. So, you know, Beckenham Town, one of their players has basically 1 or 2 of their players has pretty much scored as much, if not more, than the entire squad put together. So that's why I thought it might have been a bit more one-sided when it comes to Beckenham. Corners just coming for Beckenham Town, balls on the edge of the box, chipped back in, headed back across goal, easily held by the goalkeeper. But Beckenham just not finding that rhythm, and I'm struggling to understand why, really, when on paper it is they're the clear favourites, but it's the cliche. Football's not played on paper, Michael. It's played on grass. So that's why it's 1-0 to Banstead, and it is what it is at the moment. Beckenham struggling to get into the game. Banstead again come close to doubling the lead, where, you know, if it wasn't for the goalkeeper producing a good save, then there'd been a bit of trouble. Where Beckenham again lose the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Banstead break.
Good save, goalie.
Banstead break really quickly, superbly. Cut the ball inside. I believe it is the 8. Is that the 8? So it is. Yeah. So the 8 for Banstead. You can see what the Beckenham geezer thinks of that on their staff. But the 8 cuts inside beautifully well, runs with the ball, slots it through on the edge of the 18-yard box to the centre forward, who cuts inside. He puts it down low to the bottom corner of the goalkeeper, who produces a really, really good save. If it wasn't for that, it'd be 2-0. So again, Banstead are the better team at the moment. And Beckenham are sort of playing into their hands. Again, they're not finding any rhythm. And again, a very cynical foul given on the touchline. So we'll stay with this and we'll see how we get on. So Banstead about to take the free kick now, just in front of the stand. We're sitting in, whistle's blown, bit of movement in the box, free kick coming in, swung, and it's headed away by Beckenham Town. I'm going to stay with this while the pressure keeps on, because they're breaking away, a touch inside. The fullback runs down the line, cuts the ball in. It's a lovely ball across the goal, and defended well by Banstead very, very sensible. And as I'm looking at this, got notification that Millwall 1-0 up against Luton Town. So something to celebrate up at Kenilworth Road. Come on, you Lions. So there's a break in play now at the moment. I believe someone was just down injured or doing shoelaces up. There was a bit of a stop. 5-10 minutes to go till half time now, and Beckenham slowly getting back more into the game. You know, like they are actually ability wise probably the better team with the ball at their feet, but it's just that Banstead seems to be doing more with it, and like they're on the attack now. They've lost the ball. Lovely, another ball over the top. Is that a bit too long for Banstead? Has he kept it in? He's done well to keep that in. He's done well to keep it in the line. I think, or they all think it's gone out. But the resulting shot was over the bar. But there's a bit of frustration here from Beckenham, because I mean, I know I don't come down here often, or I've not been down here at all this season, but they clearly are frustrated with the way they're playing. You know, the manager's frustrated with the way they're playing, and you know, again, they're just struggling to find any kind of rhythm. And Banstead have taken advantage of it. So it's an interesting game to watch, to say the least, because there's one team who's come here and they're coming here to do a job. Let's just be brutally honest with Banstead. They need to stay up. Looking at the stats, they need to do a job, and they're doing it well at the moment. They've got the goal earlier on, and they're sitting on it. They defend reasonably well. They break quickly, although they don't only do tremendously brilliant things with the ball. It's efficient and it gets it done. And when you're at the bottom table fighting for your life with a few games in hand, you've got to make those games in hand points. So these are the sort of teams you need to frustrate against. And now again, Beckenham are looking for a penalty, which if that was given, would have been incredibly soft. The player's turned, seems to have lost his balance and sort of got clipped as he's going down. So it's not a penalty, but you can hear there's some appeals where there's that bit of frustration where they need something to get a spark in this game. Again, it's not been too bad. The standard and the rhythm hasn't been in this game, which I've seen in other non-league games so far. But again, I wouldn't say it's not been enjoyable. And again, for £8 for me and my son to get in, it's not too bad. And it's nice facilities, nice layout of the pitch and everything like that. And there's a few people here. It's a good atmosphere. So, you know, stay with it, keep going. And let's just hope, see if the second half gets a bit more actual goal action, because that is what this half is lacking. I think Beckenham just want this half to be over, if I'm brutally honest, because there's a lot of times where some of their passes are being underhit or misplaced, or there was a quite easy 4 or 5 yard pass there that they've just pat out for a throw. I presume it's their manager or someone on the management staff, but he's not happy at all, and he's obviously telling the back line they need to clear their line better, you know, sort of pull their finger out a bit more. And then and as I say that, there's just been about a 30 yard pass played in the air. Geezer's chested it down up front and volleyed it, and it's nearly gone in. But chances like that have been few and far between this half. I think this is literally the type of game you 1-0 down, get this half finished with, go in at half time, have your rollicking, and then see what happens in the second half. But yeah, it's certainly not been the game I expected from Beckenham Town. Let's be honest there. But again, good little ground, nice little atmosphere, so can't be too disheartened by it. Oh, and how the sort of tables have turned here. It's now 1-1. A ball was played through up to the number 9, who beat the offside trap superbly, found some space, and he's buried it in the bottom corner. And there was an absolute roar from the stand, and you can hear cheering on the other side of the pitch. Really, really good, well taken goal from Beckenham, and it's amazing. Just, I mean, it probably shows just how good they are as a side overall throughout the course of the season. I know I've been it sounds slightly hypocritical saying that they're playing today, but if you play like this, where you've got no rhythm, struggling to link passes together, and you know your manager and teammates are being critical of you, but then you can score a goal like that, you know, quality does show. Quality does show in the sense that, you know, if you have these little moments here and instantly now they're playing faster, quicker, they're on their toes a bit more, crowd are a bit more in it, so they're going to go in. I've just literally just asked the assistant referee there, that's a lovely ball out wide, and they're going to score 2 in the space of 2 minutes. Oh, he's just put it wide. So they would have gone from being in the game, and there's the half-time whistle there. So they would have gone from being in a game where, you know, like the joke goes, they couldn't hit water if they fell out of boats. So now a team would have had 2 chances in the last minute. One of them they've scored, one they've just put wide, and now they're going in at half-time more confident that they might get something out of this game. So credit where credit's due. I didn't necessarily think that they were the better side for large durations of that game, but last couple of minutes goes, and they're right back in it at 1-1. So we'll see how the second half goes, because they'll be a lot more confident. They're now being clapped off the pitch, which I can tell you now, if they hadn't scored that goal, you could argue whether they would have done. And that rollicking I just mentioned is now going to turn into something a bit more positive, perhaps. You never know. So we're now going to go inside, because it is freezing here. For what's now meant to be British summertime, the clock's going forward. We've had snow and everything. So we'll see how this sort of second half goes. But going into the second half all even and 1-1 again, and riding a crest of a wave, and playing towards the clubhouse where most of the majority of the fans are. Well, it's just a different game now, so I'll check in second half.
Achtung, Mehlball.
And I thought I'd do this voice note in the clubhouse of Beckenham Town for those who haven't been there before. I'll tell you what, it's a nice little setup here, and I know as you obviously go to places like the Den, or you go to like other professional clubs, it's obviously a bit different from the stadium, but it's a really, really nice little clubhouse here. Horse racing on one Saturday, soccer Saturday on the other Saturday, and a really nice bar with drinks you can take outside. So again, I'm not encouraging getting absolutely blotto at football, dear listener, or getting too carried away with a glass of Merlot before you start watching. But it is it's nice to be able to go to these little grounds, as we know, with these little bar areas. We've mentioned that, and again, it adds that little bit of more of a community feel to it. I'm looking at some pictures now around the ground of some famous cup wins that Beckenham had over the years. In the mid 2010s, they did remarkably well in cup competitions. I believe one season they did a league and trophy treble, and I'm literally just looking at it now, where they've got a framed picture on the wall of the team sheet of the Roy Vinter Skeffel Challenge Shield winner, where they won 3-0 away against Whiteleaf, and their captain and all their team are holding up a shield. And it was a Champion V Cup winners sort of kind of tournament, as it says on the programme there. So, they've done really, really well historically during the 2010s. They're a good club, and they're one of the more well-known non-league clubs, if you will, or certainly from a personal point of view. I've got family who've played for Beckenham Town, and I've heard of them before through friends and family who've played for them. So, they're well-known. There's a lot of people down here watching, and it's a nice atmosphere, as I said, with a nice bar. So I know Luton Town are against Millwall today, so you could say I'm sure I got a ticket for Luton Town, but when I went to go and buy some, they'd sold out, so wanted to watch a bit of football, and thought I'd come down to Beckenham. And this is what we've said on some shows historically. I said it a few times when we were from Belvedere show. Nick said it a few times when we went to Hornchurch. If you want to watch a bit of football when your team's away, or you can't get tickets for a game for whatever reason, nothing stop you going down to these grounds, because they need the money, and it's not too bad down here. So go and support your non-league, ladies and gentlemen. Second half has started, and now, as we all know, we're non-league grounds where we're sort of stands and standing areas ain't as packed out as they normally are. We thought we'd come round to the other side of the pitch, and a good tackle there by Banstead. We thought we'd come round to the other side where there's a standing area and a few more, and this is a bit like the old-fashioned terraces, if you will, to a point where it's all standing, obviously. Second half has actually started pretty well in Beckenham's favour. They've had a couple of chances, and we was behind the goal for one of the corners where there was a scramble, and Banstead just about kept it out. And a lot of the start of the second half has been in Banstead's half, so clearly that goal at the end of the first half has been a bit more positive for them. Banstead really ain't getting into the game as much. I know it's still very, very early, but they're looking for these. They're looking for these long balls, which literally there was just one there to get back into it, and Beckenham now are actually a bit more calm and controlled than they were in the first half, compared to the second, where it's getting a bit more frustrated. They're looking up a bit more, they've got a bit more time on the ball. As you can hear, they're being told to drive a lovely ball over the top there. It's a lovely ball from the full-back, just too long to the centre forward. But Beckenham definitely back in this game, 100%, and it'll be interesting, as I've said a couple of times, to see how it goes now, because Banstead do appear a little bit more on the back foot. Like I said at the start of the first half, it could be like, and then they've nearly got through again there, Beckenham. how you can have things like fitness and just a superior, more sort of efficient way of playing football can obviously work against them now, because the way it's going at the moment, and I know it's only a couple of minutes old, I can see Beckenham maybe getting a couple of goals here to make it 2-3-1. So we'll keep with it now as they're attacking. Nice and one-touch football there. Banstead win the ball back. Ball's played over the top. He's beat the full-back. The players beat the full-back. The keeper's come out nicely and gathered. He's on the edge of the box and the ball's out. So a couple of two chances there. More arguably could have come from them, but no, it's a good tempo. It's going well. We're in the second half still of the game, as we know, and Beckenham are just in total control of this game. They're playing the ball nicer. Even unfortunately their Kirsten commentator has miscontrolled it and it's gone out for throw, but they've had about 3 or 4 chances now. Beckenham would have seen last-ditch tackles or blocks by Banstead. Long balls that are being played up the pitch to the Banstead attacking line are just being snuffed out and dealt with very, very easily by the Beckenham back line, and they're in a lot more control as I thought they would be. You can hear the frustration now from some of the home fans, because Banstead do seem to be doing a little bit of time wasting. I mean, it's very, very interesting at 1-1 how the goalkeeper does his does the thing where you sort of entice the forward over by not picking up the ball just yet, even though it was a free header, it was a simple header that Beckenham managed to get out. So they are the better team, Beckenham, in this half, as I've just said, dealing with everything. And again, just there, a throw-in from Banstead has just been easily dealt with, and Beckenham back on the ball and doing very well with it. So we'll stay with this now, because the package are playing a nice ball over the top from Danny Waldron, the centre midfielder, at wide to the 7, and it's gone out for a throw. But yeah, the ball has stayed largely in Banstead's half, and when it does come into Beckenham, it's dealt with very easily. So as I said earlier on, I can only really see this being like a sort of 2-1, 3-1 to Beckenham. And I'll tell you what, I don't think Beckenham will bite me down here the way I keep tempting fate, because Banstead nearly took the lead there to make it 2-1. Beckenham have been so solid at the back in this game, really struggled to get the ball out, and was inconsistent with the way they were trying to tackle and get the ball out, which invited in pressure from Banstead. Banstead then managed to get a shot away just from the edge of the box after some clumsy defending, and I'm talking inches wide of the far post, and the keeper wouldn't have got down there in time, and again that would have been slightly against the run of play, to say the least, but that was close, very, very close, and there's a lot of sort of frustrated Beckenham fans here, probably frustrated in the fact that there's not more goals for Beckenham, but also the fact that that if that goal would have gone in, they're inviting Banstead into the game to take the lead. So they're in the top 2, Beckenham, and their stats show they are a good team. You can't go 31, 32 games in the league, especially unbeaten at home, and only losing 3 all season. But it's you can't give sides like that a chance, because slightly high up the table, with all due respect to Banstead, that's 2-1, and with 10-15 minutes to go, it becomes game management. So not long left to go. A slight slip up there from Beckenham, but again they are in control of the game, and let's just see if they can get that second goal that they are promising. And it's been coming, and it's 2-1 to Beckenham. Banstead were on the attack. They lost the ball got played back long up the pitch. There was a tackle in the box, which some people were saying could have been a penalty, but there was but the ref done well to play the advantage. The ball's dropped to a Beckenham player inside the penalty area, and he's hit it first time. It's gone to the keeper's right into the top corner. Really, really well taken goal. Hit nicely first time as well. And like I said just a few minutes ago, Beckenham, if there was going to be one team who took the league, it would be Beckenham. Granted, they probably should have took the league a bit earlier on, but it was coming. You can't have 4 or 5 half chances in the second half and sort of not punish the side. So well done Beckenham getting back into this game, considering they were 1-0 down and it weren't the greatest of first halves. And there we go. 2-1. They're back in the driving seat. Just asked the assistant referee how long they had left. There's 15 minutes to go now. So they're back in the game, and breathing down the neck of the team at the top. So it's going to be an interesting last 10-15 minutes as it goes. So come on Beckenham, let's keep going. one thing I did notice in the first half, which I was going to comment on, but I completely forgot about, and we've just seen the second half, obviously, when they scored a moment ago, was behind the goal. They've got like a little, behind one of the goals, should I say, they've got like a little sort of roofed area, or there's like, it looks like a garden shed wall on its own with a metal roof on it. And they've got 2 flags there with 2 guys holding the flags. And every time Beckenham score, it's like, you know, at the Emirates or like the Nou Camp when like Barcelona or Arsenal score. These mascots or these supporters hold up these flags and then just wave them really, really big and really like everywhere, and it's blowing. What's the word I'm looking for? Poetically in the wind. That's the same here when Beckenham score, and to be fair, to them, you know, that's a job in itself. Picking those flags up, they're massive. But you know, this goes back to what we said at the Erith and Belvedere game. It's some of the things you see at non-league grounds now. So we've seen the drum, we've seen the lone supporter last week against Canterbury Gang Crackers. We've had ultras at Hornchurch. We've had ultras at Hastings. We've had good tackle. We've had youngsters hurling abuse. I would say hurling abuse, but saying a few unsavoury things at VCD. So, God, do you know what? Next season, if we continue these shows, which I'm happy to do, but if we continue these shows, and all those listening enjoy it too, grab yourself like a shot glass and some tequila or sambuca, and we'll play non-league shots or non-league bingo. And every time we mention something that we might make bingo cards, as that Nick, bingo cards, sponsored by Achtung Millwall, obviously. Oh, awful touch there by the Banstead defender. But no, back to the bingo cards. We'll make bingo cards where if you hear us on the shows say anything like flag or ultra or drum, burger, chips, clubhouse, take a shot of sambuca. You'll probably be in rehab by February, March if we start the season next September. And so the game ends now, and it's 2-1 to Beckenham Town. Few of the supporters let out a big sigh of relief, and a few of them said about Avery it's a little bit squeaky bum time and a little bit not the sort of performance you'd want to see, but it's job done. And this is why teams like Beckenham are nearer the top of the table. And I think as it stands at the moment, I heard a couple of people saying the team were at the top at the moment, drawing 1-1. So I think Beckenham would go top, or at least on the same points at the stage as it is. Very much job done, like I said there. Weren't the prettiest of games at times. In the first half, you could say, up until Beckenham equalised late, Banstead were, as I said, weren't necessarily the better team actual ability, but they were efficient and they knew what they were doing with the ball, and they were grinding out the game, grinding out the sort of result as it stood at the time. I think going in at 1-1 completely changed the complexity of the game, because Beckenham's second half, there was only really one team in it. Banstead had a couple of shots, but you weren't even huffing and puffing. It was more of just a huff. And Beckenham, you know, if they finished better, it could have been more. But 2-1. So Avery Junior number 2. What did you think of the game, mate?
Good, and I would say, what was it called? The yellow team, whatever they were called, were the better team in the first half. But then
so Banstead were the better team in the first half, yeah?
And in the second half, Beckenham just had a comeback and scored their second goal, and it was a good goal.
Yeah, it's a good goal, well taken, were they? Would you say that Beckenham were the better team in the second half?
Probably.
Yeah, they were. He's lying. He don't know what he's talking about. Probably. What game are you watching, boy? No, it's a nice little ground, nice little stadium. As I said, there was a few people there who clearly are, you know, non-league aficionados. They were getting right into the game. So this is going to be Michael Avery for Achtung Grassroots signing off. Hope you enjoyed this coverage. It was a little bit difficult at times to get massively into the game at times because there was little goal mouth action, but 2-1 there as we leave Eden Park Avenue, and well done to Beckenham Town. Unlucky to Banstead, and maybe get down here before the end of the season or next season, depending on which division Beckenham may be in, because we just don't know, do we? We don't know.
Thank you for listening to Achtung Millwall. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a cheeky little review. Arrivederci Millwall. Till next time.
Who do you want to watch?